Well, here we are once again with your boy Nuncio with another episode of Ride With Me. Um, this is live stream here on Ustream. So I guess it's not live stream, but anyway, I just wanted to give an update on the uh, Occupy Cincinnati movement that was held last night. Um, it was again, it was okay. The more I thought about it afterwards, I realized um, that they need more organization uh, via um, a leader, and that's what they are lacking. They're lacking a leader, and they pride themselves in saying that this is a leaderless organization. This is a leaderless movement, as if everybody is flying in formation, as do the birds when they go south. But we know that that is not the case when it comes to the Occupy movement. They know how to gather in one in general assembly in Wall Street, Oakland, Portland, places of that nature, and they get down. But the momentum is lacking greatly here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's because Cincinnati is very conservative, and everybody knows that. And that's a good thing, in my opinion, because somebody has to hold it down on a more civilized fashion, other than just taking pride in just occupying a park. I think that it's gotten a little out of hand, and people are taking more pride in occupying a park instead of saying, "Okay, we got the people's attention. Now let's start to make some progressive moves." And Cincinnati is lacking that. I don't know what it will take for that to come about. I like I said, I went last night to find out who was the leader, who was over it. They claim that we're all leaders, we're all this round table type discussion, but clearly there were people who officiated the the meeting, the General Assembly, and there were people who headed up the website. Those are the heads, in my opinion. Those are the ones who call the shots. They are the ones who say this is what we're going to do finally. Now they have suggestions. They make suggestions. They're open to suggestions, and I believe that that is good. But they I don't know. I feel like it's missing that one thing, and that's a good powerful leader who was able to take a stand and say, like, this is the final call on what we are going to do. Um, Also, uh, I think that with the whole thing of this movement, um, I think that it died down here in Cincinnati because people don't want to get arrested. I found it really shocking that they had a sign-up sheet for people to be arrested. This wasn't like uh, an accident. This was them wanting to get arrested, and I don't understand how that worked. What was the point of that? I mean, I kind of looked at that like, that's kind of weird. Um, because they're going to hit you with a citation, hit you with a fine, a fee, because you are breaking the law based upon Cincinnati's ordinance. And this is the thing, they feel like my First Amendment rights is being violated, and it's like, no, it's not being violated. You have the freedom of speech, and you have the freedom to assemble yourselves peaceably, but it has to be done in order. They're not telling you can't do it. They're just saying not here. And yes, it's a public park, and it's it's off limits. It's a public park. Yeah, I pay taxes for that park to use that park, but it's not just anytime I feel like using that park. That park came with some rules, and I think that because they know that the rules are there, they attack these parks via occupying them, trying to make a statement by disobeying the law and by gathering in great number, hoping that the police will, when they come out, they arrest them and it makes news. Well, the police, I kind of sense they wised up, and they didn't start arresting people till 12 o'clock at night. All right, the police are doing this at night because number one, it's their job, and they're told to by their captain, their chief, who has been also given orders by the city mayor. I'm pretty sure that's who gives that call to arrest the violators after a certain time, so that the news can't catch it live, and therefore get the people more riled up. And I don't blame them. I mean, because if it gets too out of hand, you can have yourself a mess, a real serious mess. And they're trying to help keep the peace. But the protesters, they're like, we're doing this in the peace, but they're causing like this silent chaos, without direction. Okay, because they already have everybody's attention. I mean, like, we get that. We understand that. We see you guys, we hear you all, we hear the mic checks, we see you on television being arrested for violating city ordinances, breaking the law. That's what it is. And they try to say, well, we're doing it in the name of our freedom, our First Amendments, and I really believe that that's weak. I believe that if you really want to make news, do it based off numbers or doing something in an orderly fashion. Not an orderly fashion based off of chaos, because that's nothing. Anyone could just about do that. But I think that it means a lot more when you're able to do it in such a fashion to where the news would be like, okay, these people are really organized and not breaking any laws, but they're great in number. That's news. Because occupying parks and stuff, that's old news. It's on to the next. And it's like, it's the same rigmarole. They're in a park, they're breaking the law, they say this is their point of action, and we're just going to get arrested and let them know that we're not leaving this park. I'm sorry, but I'm not down with that. I'm not down with occupying freaking parks after hours to be arrested. Okay, because you're feeding the monster. You're giving the monster more money. Okay, whether you agree with it or not, that's what's happening. Unless, the people plan on saying, like, what, we want more people than what the system can handle, and then we just gonna stay in a park. But then it's like, but now what? Then what? Occupy Wall Street, then what? Like plan one, Occupy Wall Street. Plan number two, I have no idea. And that's where these people are at. They have no clue as to how to get what they want. They barely, in my opinion, know what they want. I feel like they need to take a local issue, work that local issue, and then keep the bigger nationwide issues at hand. Get some leaders, some real thinkers, get those people together and send them to handle the really big problems, the really big issues. But it has to be done in a strategic way, a strategic format, not just occupying parks. And this is what I also noticed, and I'm part of this problem too, but the people that's occupying the parks, they're not like how can I say, they're not consistent. You know, it's like it wants to be its own Congress or House of Reps, House of Reps, but then it's like, you know, the lack of consistency. It's like, again, they want to operate, call these shots and stuff, but do it without leader, and it's like, nah, that ain't gonna happen. It is not going to happen. They need leadership. And I think that if they don't get that leadership, then it's going to definitely, ultimately die. It's going to fall apart. And I think it's going to fall apart due to that, but I also think that's going to fall apart due to the cold weather. Because this is way too cold to be standing out there assembling yourselves in a park. That's how I feel. I feel like that the movement should have started back in spring. If they really thought this through, they should have occupied in the springtime. They would have had spring all the summer to really get down. But now the movement has died. It's a good chance that it will come back from hibernation, as do the mammals that live out in the wild, in particular the bear. But other than that, it's gonna be too cold. You have a few people out there who will use the moment to say, you know what, I'm really dedicated, and give me a badge for bearing through the winter, and like, that's cool. But other than that, we're just gonna have to wait and see. That's just my prediction. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that. It's just that that's what I see. I look and I see a downtime that's going to hit the nation as a whole, that have these drastic weather changes, and I think when the springtime comes around, for those who have the bad weather, I think that the people will come back out. But New York, it's going to freeze. It is definitely going to freeze. Unless the people have the spirit of New Year's Eve celebrators, in which those people, man, they go out and they block up the streets. You know what I'm saying? And they're not protesting; they're just out there celebrating. But that's just like that one time, you know, event that goes down. And if they do it like that, you may have a nice little turnout. But other than that, man, people are gonna be inside. And I think that that's when the General Assembly meetings are gonna really make a difference. And I noticed that also here in Cincinnati, they're talking about trying to find a place to where they can come together indoors. So they're preparing themselves here. I don't know about elsewhere, but they're trying. That's one thing that I can say, is that they're trying. And I'm not going to say we are trying, because I just went out, like I said, last night to check it out, see what's going on. I don't agree with everything I see and everything that I heard. Food for Bombs, I think that's what it's called. They're doing their thing. I think that that's pretty sweet. I feel that they should not worry about if people are homeless or not. If people that are eating the foods, if they're homeless, I believe that's part of the issue. So, like, you know, have a homeless speaker speak on behalf of the homeless people, that deals with the loss of jobs, the loss of homes and stuff. So I don't know. That's my take on it all. I'm about to sign off here so that this can get posted up here on YouTube. And until then, I'm gonna say it like I always do. Peace in, everybody, and Confusion out. And thanks for riding with me.